they can't really touch your essence. They can't touch who you are, no matter.
Hey, yo, what is he talking about? No mames. Guys, Somber Episode back once again with another Somber Reacts. No mames. So what we doing today, bro, is that we're doing another reaction type content, type video on this weird, obscure YouTuber by the name of Somber Episode. Strange, because that's my name. Maybe this guy's a doppelganger. I'm not going to copyright strike his content because it seems like he makes men's health, men's mental health, celibacy type content, and he's pretty motivational. He's a little boisterous at times, a little grandiloquent in times when he could just be a little concise and terse. But whatever, man. I'm not gonna try to get this guy's channel in trouble. But anyway, there's an old video of his, Semen Retention, A Sense of Belonging is his title. It was made over a year ago. It's cornball, no mames. This is an interesting one. I'm guessing he's going to talk about semen retention, right? It's in the title. And A Sense of Belonging, I wonder what he's gonna reference in that. So like, comment, subscribe, guys. Let's get right into this content now, right? Anyway, guys, we also have the Patreon channel up and running. We put posts on the Patreon channel, such as photos. We do a lot of interviews, exclusive content. We also do the newsletter for the channel there. Weekly posts, weekly uploads. So join the Patreon community for that. The newsletter, however, is free. So, you know, if you want to read some of my little thoughts, you know, and whatnot, in a ELA format, check that out over there. Link is going to be in the description. Anyway, let's get right into it. Somber del Piso.
So, Somber del Piso back once again. So we explored the Hudson Yards Mall, which is just right over here. We went to Brooks Brothers, where we used to work. Caught up with a new employee that works there. She was sort of inspired of what I was doing. She likes the idea of the channel, which is great. And
you see, that's what I like about like this YouTuber, right, that talks about semen retention, because this guy, you know, not only he's yelling about the deep levels of semen retention, not only he practices the goddamn practice, right, but he also connects with the world, which is something I seldom see a lot of semen retention channels do. I seldom see a lot of individuals do that. You know, this is an interesting guy right here. Yeah, man. Let's see. Let's check this out. I like the quality is good too.
I have a future subscriber with her. Hopefully I inspired her to start her own channel, which is what she wanted. So right now I'm going to talk about semen retention and a sense of belongingness. I've been on this practice for a very, very long time. Like, you know, but off and on. I've been on it for years. And the only thing that I've learned really pertaining to the sense of belonging is, like I told you guys earlier, there isn't any. You have none. I would meet people and
I don't know. Okay, so that's a little deep. That's what because I say the same thing on my channel. And this guy and I are saying the same things. The longer you are on semen retention, meaning that you're not looking at adult film content, you're not looking at any soft-core lewd material on Instagram or any of the other various social media platforms, you are not dwelling on sex or anything. You're not touching, no edging, nothing. You are just going straight, going to the gym, doing something creative, obviously, to help transmute that energy so you're not overwhelmed by it and you're just at a point of suppression with that energy that builds up in you during the semen retention practice. However, he has a point, because the longer you go on this practice, right, you tend to lose that sense of belonging or that sense of connectivity with a lot of other people. Provided that you do not keep that cable and connection alive. Meaning, having a little bit of a spontaneous situation, such as going out and talking to some people, chatting with them, even if you don't necessarily agree with them, just have a little conversation with them, you know? I wonder if he's gonna touch up on that in this video. I mean, this is at least based on my practice. You know, like I said, I've been on semen retention for, currently my streak is 2 months. I have not looked at anything, have not released at all, have not done anything. My gains have been up. Honestly, I've been pushing 225 bench press up to 10 reps at the gym. Let's go. Let's go. So that's definitely because of semen retention. Because for sure, a couple weeks ago, I wasn't doing that. Just to let you know. And before that, I was on a streak for a year, an entire year and a month. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go continue the video. Let's see what else he says.
It seemed they're, you know, good people. You know, at first they're nice, they're supportive, and they even connect with me. But I know deep in my heart, I really do, and deep in my soul, that it won't last at all. It never does, because eventually people just switch. It's like a light bulb. And I know for sure that it's a result of this practice. On this practice, right, you know, you're retaining your semen, right? You're retaining your attention, because ultimately semen retention relates to the retention of attention, which means you are not devoting your attention to licentious behaviors, nude stuff, lewd things, promiscuous behavior.
I like that, exactly. So I'm glad him and I agree on some things, right? At the end of the day, semen retention is not just the habit of retaining your life force, right? Retaining that energy, retaining the semen. It is about the retention of attention, because essentially attention is energy. The more you focus on something, the more you give life to that thing, and the more life you give to it within your brain. The more you do that, it becomes more and more significant in your brain. Meaning, the longer you are on semen retention, all of that energy devoted onto the things that you give attention to, it's retained in your mind, right? Interesting stuff.
And you're sort of concentrating on the self. You know, you're trying to learn math. You're probably trying to be better at science. Learn a new language, like in my case. As you continue with this practice, we're going to start feeling a huge disconnect. For example, I mean, I did have a lot of friends. I still do know a lot of people, as you can see. I go to random spots and I end up getting to know people, or I just know people that...
I like this guy though, honestly. It seems like this Sombra del Piso is very artistic. You know what I mean? Not only he's on, and that's what's needed on semen retention too, because you need to not necessarily be like creative like John Galliano or Alexander McQueen or something, one of them. I'm saying, or like, Salvador Dali. I'm just saying that you need to have a creative outlet in order to divert and transmute that excessive sexual energy that you're going to be gathering in your body. And it's interesting. Like, it seems like he's like an ascent channel, not a lot of subscribers, and just the way he's editing is kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. I think he's using iMovie in this part. And he just has all these clips, all these good angles. It's like, he has a good mind there, a little creative mind. Not bad, not bad.
It remembered me from my past. So that's gonna still happen, depending on your history. But if you do have a large group of friends, chances are that you are probably the only person that is gonna be on this practice and is connecting this practice. And as such, you're gonna fall out with your friends. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna slip away. They might say that you become distant, or maybe they're just not going to give you any signs at all, or they're not going to give you any comment. You're just going to just sort of separate from your friends, and that's fine. That's okay. That's just what happens. It's going to be at times like this feeling of a burst of energy. It's just like...
It's interesting though, because generally, I mean, I don't know what the statistics are of people that practice semen retention, but I think it's definitely a very, very low number. It's probably like less than 10% of the population in a state, at least here in the United States, would practice semen retention. And that probably, my percentage is even less than 5%, for sure. And however they were able to glean the data, the census people that were asking that question, you could definitely guess that people weren't telling the truth, mostly. Maybe men were exaggerating. So that number is even less than the recorded amount. So that fact seems to be true, or at least what this silly little Sombra doppelganger said. The fact that in your friend groups, you're probably the only person that practices celibacy and sexual discipline out of everyone else. So that definitely seems like it checks out.
Like this combustion of just excitement, joy, euphoria, and that really will shape your immediate world, like almost in a metaphysical way. People understand it, and they try to destroy that euphoria. They try to just destroy it outright, and you just laugh at it, because it's like, why are you even acting like that? I don't threaten anything of yours, right? But then you realize this world will eventually get better. I do really believe that this world will eventually ascend 100%, because it has no choice to. But I think that on the way to that ascension, despite how long that time period is, we're gonna have to go through a lot of dark times. You know, this being one of them, where people are just of a hive mind behavior, and no matter where they are, where they're from in the world, they prescribe to this idea of what happiness is supposed to look like. Just something that
That's so interesting. This guy is, that's why I like semen retention channels, you know, because due to that influx of sexual energy that's being saved within your vessel, due to you being on the practice sincerely, your perception naturally is broadening, it's widening, and you understand way more about the world in like this very visceral way. This guy is talking about how people tend to be of a hive mind generally, and because of that, they all prescribe to the hive mind's leading broadcast of what happiness is like, or what sadness is supposed to look like, or what success or honesty even looks like. It's so interesting that he was able to point that out. He's talking about how semen retention broadens your perception in order to make you more creative, but it also makes you understand your place in the world, how the world objectively is, and how they think generally. People in the world thinking generally. And if you want to choose to be a part of that fold or not, like this little intrepid enigma over here. Somber piece. What kind of name is that anyway?
that you have to accept. Like I told you guys, I've read the religious texts, I've explored, ideas of thought, and that quote from the Bible where I think Jesus warns someone, do not be afraid of the people that could destroy your body, but be afraid of the one that could destroy your soul in hell. I think of it as these guys could really, at the end of the day, the world could really just touch your emotion, touch your body. They can't really touch your essence. They can't touch who you are, no matter.
Hey, yo, what is he talking about? No mames. He's like, the world can touch your body, touch your face, but it can't touch your essence. Okay. Listen, semen retention, I understand that it's a powerful practice. It's going to raise your IQ a little bit more due to the widening of your observation. But like that's a little lewd, right? Like it's a little it's a little innuendo there. A little weirdo.
The whole world could band against one person. They could even, slice your arm or, even decapitate you. But they really can't touch who you are unless you allow them to affect that part of you. That sounds kind of mo, so I'm gonna put a pause on that. You guys know what I mean. When you allow the world to destroy you, it will destroy you. But when you are on this practice for a very long time, intuitively understand the flow, the metaphysical flow that governs this world and the events thereof. There's a liberation that comes about. Without a doubt, this is what all the ascended masters were talking about. I don't want to get too far flung. Semen retention, ultimately, let's start with that. You guys will ponder everything that comes about after.
I like this. So he's thinking a lot, this guy. You could tell he's a profound thinker. He walks around, observes the world. He doesn't just read books, right? He also has experience, which I think that's incredibly important in the practice of semen retention, or even if you're not on semen retention, in life. Even if you have not found this practice yet or found an importance of why you should practice this practice, I think that by being very introspective about your experiences in life, generally, like sort of questioning why things happen to you or why things occurred this way. When you constantly pose that question why in regards to most of the experiences in your life, because if you do that from a momentary to momentary basis, you're just going to be stuck forever thinking, and you're not going to live life. But if you are questioning and just are introspective about the reason behind your actions or why things might have happened, then you are going to inevitably get to semen retention as a man, because you're getting close to suffering, the idea of suffering, why that's prevalent in humanity, why there's a lack of physical energy amongst men, young men, right? And you understand the constituents of semen. You're questioning, what is that? Why is that? Why do we need to keep it? Does this help? Let me try it on my own. Reading is good. Understanding why things are is good. Experiences are better only because you will directly understand that thing that you read about. If you guys understand where I'm coming from, you should not have to experience certain things for sure. I think that you should be able to look at water and tell that it's wet. I think you should be able to look at fire and tell that it's hot, right? But sometimes I think that we live in this idea of a conveyor belt sort of society where we are constantly, no matter what we tell the youth, they're never going to listen. They grow up after a myriad of experiences. They understand why things were wrong after they've experienced the consequences of their actions and disobeying the warning. And then those individuals try to warn the next of kin, the next generation. They don't listen because they think that they know everything, the almighty blinding power and energy of youth. And then they get caught in the same situation, and then they try to teach the ones that are, selfless in that regard. But that's just the conveyor belt, the situation in life. People are just constantly going and living and doing the same things, no matter what warning signs are there. It's kind of unfortunate. There are some that heed the warnings, but it's a very, very few. Let's continue to see what this idiot has to say. No man,
after that, the longer you are on this practice, and we could discuss that in the comment section. But I do understand that that sense of belonging is going to rear its hooded head, right, like a king cobra, and it's going to be intimidating at first. You are going to, get weird looks wherever you walk. You're going to, be shunned. People are probably going to outright ignore you, outright bump into you, outright be disrespectful to you, and that's all part of the practice, guys. I know, with all of these videos, the dark side of semen retention, the evolution of the aura, but ultimately it's evolving to like the negative sense. Guys, the practice ultimately is not for some outer reward or some sort of acknowledgement on your case as some sort of positive figure who's all along had great intentions for all of their interpersonal relationships. The idea of this practice is to ascend, is to evolve the self, to grow as an individual, become much more in control of your moods in response to the very seemingly uncontrollable but direct nature of the world and its events.
Interesting. So he's saying, this guy, he copied my name, but it's all right, we'll let him. He's saying that on the practice of semen retention, one should not seek a physical reward, a sort of pat on the back for this hard effort of going against the flow of the general sentiments and behaviors of the individual males in the world. He's saying that you should just be on semen retention to evolve. If you don't get a reward that in the open, in the external, then that's just the way it is. You got to accept it and just move on, right? And it's just not, and that should not be prioritized. That's what he's saying. Smart guy. I like him.
The loss of a sense of belongingness is just something that's just going to have to be accepted on this practice. How it relates to me personally, like I said, I lost a lot of friends on this practice. Ever since I began this journey, which was during my last year or last 2 years of college, I lost a lot of people. A lot of people just stopped talking to me. Or girls that I was interested in, things just changed, There's just a sudden switch. And
he's talking about now. Right, I guess his personal experience with lack or loss of a sense of belonging with his peers as he continued on this practice of semen retention. How women acted differently towards him, his friends acted differently towards him, and it seems all unexplainable, right? Or inexplainable? Inexplainable, yeah. That's all due to an aura change. Remember, the longer you are on this practice, the more of a strong and dense aura you produce. I think he also has another video on his channel talking about the evolution of the aura. That's one of his first viral videos. Did really well. But he explains, because, I'm a big fan of this guy too, even though he stole my name. He explains the fact that you will lose friends, you will lose a connection with others the longer you are on the practice of semen retention. And that's just natural. Either it happens inexplicably, or it's just something that you choose to separate yourself from because your motives and your goals and your ways of being don't align with each other anymore. I think life is all about growth. It's all about evolution. And whether you are an individual on semen retention or not, we are all heading towards a point where we are becoming more and more mature. At least I would like to think so. There are a lot of men that are still boys at heart and in mind and in discipline. And there are still women that are girls in the same aforementioned ways. But life is a journey. It's about growth. It's about evolution. It's about adaptation to the world around you in your idiosyncratic way, in your ascended way. That's really it. I think that's essentially what he's going to say. Does he have any comments? He got a lot of comments. Look at this. I know this is off topic, but almost nobody speaks on the dark side of SR. Oh, okay. I hope he answered this guy. I love how happy you look. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You can't talk about a practice like this, right? That's already separating you from individuals. And you're angry, you're shouting, and it's just, it may resonate with some people, but at the end of the day, life occurs in its own objective way. There are certain specific people in various industries that are masseuses, that are restaurant owners, that are car dealership salesmen. And they all lend to that objective line and direction of life in their own ways, right? Indirectly. Your job is to also lend a part to that, and not in a very negative way. Be happy. Sacrifice yourself for others. Try to be altruistic. Learn benevolence. Learn to walk in crowds without being affected by the moods and the people and the behaviors in that crowd. Learn how to retain your happiness and euphoria and your felicity in the midst of chaos and anger and resentment. That's really the trick. I think this is what essentially semen retention is all about. I am magnetic. I guess those are little affirmations for the guy. Anyway, that's all I have to talk about in regards to this channel, Somer Del Piso. He's a solid guy. He has a membership program.
Hello.
I should join. Wait, let's see what that's about.
Hello, you all, my members, the Shadow Collective. It is I, Somer Del Piso, he, one himself. There can be surrogates, there can be doppelgangers. Sure, imitation is the best form of flattery, but there is only one Somer Del Piso, and this is to introduce the Shadow Collective to you all. Now that you have joined the fold, you now have access to a plethora of perks. Ones that sort of separate you from the herd. Not only we get to speak intimately, or, interpersonally, platonically, you also have access to special emojis that I update frequently. We have a lot more emojis a lot more pictures to convert into emojis than to...
That's good. He has a membership program. I should join. Sounds nice. Anyway, if you guys like that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Don't ever let this place get you down. He has a really good chat about semen retention. Ultimately, guys, whether semen retention puts you on a path, practice it as a man. It's very, very important and essential to personal and external growth, for sure. I'm a living testament. Practice semen retention. If you are separated from your peers and your friends, that is fine. That is okay. It is a result of your growth and is a result of the accumulation of the sexual energy within your aura. That's just natural. With that, try your best also to be compassionate. Don't be embittered by the world, right? And the way that they act towards you. That's just perhaps a small group of people. Perhaps it's just a state. Perhaps it's just a Western country. And there are always individuals in the world that match your point of view, that match your values. You just have to find your tribe. So always stay positive, always stay blessed, and always stay radiant, guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next Somer Reacts. Woo!